In this video, I'm going to walk you through the top 5 things that you should be aware of if you're in search of a pre-construction home anywhere across Ontario. Now, these are the things in a perfect world scenario builders should be drawing your attention to, but they don't necessarily talk to you about. And I can tell you, even the most seasoned buyers do often miss out on these things, which can end up potentially costing you tens of thousands of dollars more. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Stay tuned and let's get right into it. If this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything about living, eating, playing, sleeping, working, anything to do with Kitchener, Cambridge and Waterloo, then subscribe below and tap on that bell for notification so you can be the first to learn about the current market in Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo and surrounding towns. My name is Dharmik Dixit. I'm a local real estate agent serving Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo and surrounding areas. I do get calls, texts, emails from people just like you and you looking for help in making their move to Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo and surrounding areas. And I absolutely love it. So be sure to reach out to me, whether you're planning to move in 9 days or 90 days. All the information to contact me is in the description below. I'll be more than happy to help you make a smooth move to Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo and surrounding areas. Right, so the number one thing you want to do is, let's say you found a house, you found a builder, everything looks good. Now it's time for you to take a step back and really understand what is the cooling off period. What is the way out for you if you're not happy with things. Typically in Ontario, majority of the builder will offer you 10 calendar day cooling off period, which means that after you sign the agreement, you got 10 days to actually review it yourself, make sure everything is good, still works for you, even take it to your lawyer and have it reviewed by them. Now that's where most of us, are a bit lazy and overlook that factor. Oh, you know what? I'll have it reviewed by a friend or family rather than going to an actual lawyer. Or I'll go to a lawyer who may not charge me to review this. The advice that you get free of cost will only take you so far. You actually want to hire a qualified real estate lawyer that will charge you typically about $300 an hour. I can tell you it's probably going to be the best investment you can make to really walk you through that agreement, what it entails in terms of your rights and responsibility as part of that agreement. So you clearly do understand what you're getting into. The reason behind that is because when you buy into a resale market, that agreement can be drafted to favor you, to protect you. Oftentimes when you enter an agreement with the builder, those agreements are drafted by that of the builder's lawyer, so it does definitely protect them. I can guarantee you that. But you want to really have an independent legal opinion to really understand whether that does protect you as well, and are there any things that you should be concerned about. At the least, those agreements are often non-negotiable with the builder, but at least you know what you're getting into and you have absolute clarity before any surprises come down the road. Now, the extension to that agreement of purchase and sale is the assignment clause. This is something that only applies ideally when you buy a pre-construction home. What is the assignment clause? Many of you may have heard of it, but in case you have not, assignment clause simply means that you as a buyer have the opportunity to assign that agreement of purchase and sale prior to closing to another buyer, who will then enter into an agreement with the builder and will be bound by the terms of that agreement to the builder. Now, he or she will be the buyer that will close the transaction with the builder. If you do choose to exercise that assignment option, as a buyer, it releases you and the builder from each of your obligations towards each other as part of that agreement. Now, let's talk about it. Depending on the demand of the project, the builder, all those factors, and of course the market, many builders do offer assignment clause free of cost. Many builders do offer it with a fixed fee. So if you do choose to exercise that option down the road, builder will charge you a fixed fee. I've seen it as high as $50,000 sometimes, but it depends on builder to builder. Now, there's no standard to that. And there are some builders who will not allow assignment clause as an option at all. So that means that once you enter into that agreement of purchase and sale, past the cooling off period, you cannot assign it to anyone else. It's done deal. And you both are bound to each other as part of that agreement, and there may not be an easy way out. Now, why does the assignment clause matters? So as we know, many of the pre-construction home, you will get some homes with quick closing, but oftentimes they do go sometimes well over 1, 2, or even 3 years for that matter and more. So health happens, family happens, life happens, as we all know. So it's very important. Having that assignment clause as a way out will definitely give you that added peace of mind and flexibility, and more importantly works in your favor. You stay in control if you ever decide to assign that agreement to someone else. Now, the next thing you want to pay attention to is the deposit structure for that project. Now, there is no real standard. Even with the same builder, with different projects, they could have different deposit structure. So for you as a buyer, you will have to see what is the most ideal and the most flexible deposit structure that works for you. Now, there are some builders who will offer you for as long as 2 years to pay your 10, 15 or 20% whatever deposit that the builder is demanding. And there are some builders who will typically collect all of the deposit within 6 months to a year at the most, when it comes to the deposits. So, and on the other hand, there are some builders who will be very flexible and will give you a fixed monthly payment towards the deposit, which works for many first-time home buyers because they may have, let's say, 100,000 right now, but they are actually aggressively saving towards their next home purchase. And if the builder is giving that option to you, that does give you added flexibility to gather and save up that down payment while you already made a purchase. So really, it's important for you as a buyer to pay attention to that deposit structure and see what works for you, whether it works for you in your favor or not. My only advice to you is that do pay attention to that, because let's say if it is a very rigid and aggressive deposit structure, and if you don't have all the money saved up in your bank account just yet, it's advisable not to get into it, because you could end up getting into a situation where you enter into an agreement, you've already put so much of deposit, and now you can't come up with the rest of the deposit that the builder has obviously demanded. So it could get you in a pickle situation. So just be mindful of that and see what works for you. I mean, if you have all the money saved up already in your bank account and you're all ready to go into that purchase zone, then good for you, and you may not have to worry so much about it. But if you're a first-time home buyer, really still saving up the down payment and the closing cost as you head towards the purchase, it may be advisable for you to go with a rather flexible deposit structure offered by the builder. Now, the other thing you want to pay attention to as a buyer is to assess the quality of the builder. Before you get into any contract with the builder, take a step back. There are a couple of ways to do it. So one, you can look at the past track record of that builder. Take a look at some of the past communities that the builder has built, and where they completed on time, were there any known major warranty issues with those projects, or whether known any major media highlights with that builder in the past which are not very positive. Those are some of the ways to look at it. The other way is the project or community that you're getting into. Pay attention to the standard finish that the builder is offering. There are some builders which are very good, very generous when it comes to offering standard upgrades, such as 9 feet ceiling on the main floor, hardwood on the main floor, no carpet on the stairs, laundry on the second floor, upgraded kitchen finishes like quartz countertops, backsplash, things like that. Now on the other side, you have those wholesale builders who will offer you absolutely bare minimum when it comes to these homes, and you will have to pay lots in upgrades as you get further into that design phase. So that's something that can cost you additional tens of thousands of dollars when you get to that design phase, because you will not like carpet on the main floor. You may not like laminate countertop in today's age, especially when you're buying a brand new home. So pay attention to those, because you could become a victim of extra tens of thousands of dollars before you get into that next home, and could end up being way out of your budget. And lastly, keep in mind the additional cost that comes with buying a pre-construction home, which are often overlooked, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, or if this is the first time you're going to buy a pre-construction home. Things such as appliances, air conditioning, those upgrades that we just talked about, the closing cost, the landscaping, the backyard fencing, all those things are going to cost you additional money on the top of what you've already paid out as a base price plus the upgrade. These are the things that are going to cost you after you take the possession of the home, and more than likely not going to form part of your mortgage. So have a budget for that. I would say ideally keep an extra 10% on the side to pay for those things. We know some of these things can wait, such as fencing, landscaping. Okay, you could get away with it for some time, but things like appliances and air conditioning, these are the things, additional, 5 to 10 grand you gotta pay right away as you take the possession of the home. And it could sting a bit if you just made a major purchase like your home, and you probably shed all the down payment and the closing cost, all your savings went into that. So always factor that in when you're buying a pre-construction home. With the resale, in most cases, you will have those things come as part of the house. Now, some builders do offer that incentive with the appliances included or air conditioning included. So, do look out for that. And if you have that option, obviously go with that. But my point is, keep in mind those additional costs that you will incur even after you take the possession of the home from the builder. You will have to incur those additional costs when you're buying a pre-construction home. So that pretty much does wrap this video. And once again, whether you think you're moving in 9 days or 9 days, be sure to reach out. All the information you will find right in the description below. I'll be more than happy to help you make a smooth move to Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo and surrounding areas. Until next time, well, I do hope to show you around town.